Character design is an extremely complicated field, and getting into it can be somewhat, who are we kidding, very overwhelming. So today we'll try to provide you with the perfect starter pack to get you initiated. Beginning with software. Technically speaking, any program that you can illustrate on will serve as a great basis for your character design journey, ranging from the absolutely free to the ludicrously expensive. But let's try to give you the rundown on some of the more popular software, as well as others that harbor some extra benefits. Photoshop. How do we know Photoshop is good? It's not like it's the industry standard or anything. Used for everything from photo manipulation and editing to illustration and even animation, Adobe's poster child is more than a suitable program for creating characters, as evident by some legendary character designers such as Phil Barraza, infamous for his superhero designs for DC animated projects, and more recently for the design work of the entire cast of the Legend of Vox Machina animated series. Ah, was a tongue twister. One of the more iconic designs from this aforementioned show is that of Vax'ildan. His raven imagery, accentuated by his armor, implies that he is a cunning and speedy individual. The broken-up cape not only serves the functional purpose of making him more appealing to look at from behind, but it also makes his overall silhouette more interesting, since without it, he looks relatively unexciting in terms of shape length. Clip Studio Paint. Frequent dwellers of this channel would be no strangers to CSP, as we have discussed this program on more than one occasion recently, and if you would like a more in-depth review on it, then you should check out our What Clip Studio Paint is Used For video. So, to keep it brief, what Clip Studio offers over other programs, next to its objectively superior brush engine, is a 3D viewer built with customizable 3D figures and a perspective tool, allowing you to cut down on a lot of time. The 3D modeler is ideal for simplifying the posing process when creating character sheets, and the perspective tool should, hopefully, be of a lot of service when designing complex props like weapons, vehicles, and even mechs. Yes, those count as characters as well. No one should be expected to draw a gun nor a Gundam without a perspective tool, otherwise it's just cruel. Grease Pencil. This last candidate is an unexpected one, but to riff off of the 3D viewer in CSP, why not just skip the middleman and use a 3D program? Marco Bucci explains in depth how to take advantage of Blender for your 2D concept work, which we recommend you check out. In his video, Draw Character Concepts from Any Angle and Lighting, he delves into using the 3D modeler along with lighting physics to speed up your work significantly. That, and you can immediately rig and animate whatever it is you create in Blender directly, so it will save you a lot of extra steps in the long run. Next to these big three software, you can honestly use any illustration program accessible to you to design characters. The list includes Krita, Paint-Tool-Sai, GIMP, Procreate, Sketchbook, among many others. The big three, quote-unquote, are the most used in the industry, or they simply provide unique advantages you wouldn't find elsewhere. If push comes to shove, you can always just rely on the good old pencil and paper, as is still done these days. Doing it digitally, however, does offer an advantage in the form of layers. Layers. The most common feature of any digital art program, regardless of how premium they are, is layers. More than any other field, they are crucial for character designs for one simple reason: iterating. While working digitally, layer styles and effect layers provide a massive boon during production for adding visual effects and lighting to your illustration. But more crucially, they serve to save the multiple steps of any given process in a single file. They also serve to explore multiple versions of the same idea while only doing a fraction of the work. Using the same base of either a silhouette, anatomy sketch, or even 3D model, you can iterate on an idea without having to redraw the same base over and over again. And to hammer this point home, doing character exploration is crucial during the earlier phases of designing a character. Let's take as an example League of Legends' most recent release of Milio. Looking at the earlier iterations of this character, you can see that the design team has tried many different ways to visually represent the magical wandering young boy with imaginary friends going on mystical adventures. And even beyond earlier explorations, it's important to envision the character in different situations, using their abilities or interacting with their environments. This entire process is significantly simplified through the use of layers. As a final point, figuring out color schemes is easiest when isolating every color into its own layer, and saving different color schemes for later comparisons. Moral of the story, layers are the simple, best shortcut to accelerate both the illustration and iteration process when designing characters. But iteration is only one step. What about the rest? Before we continue, let me tell you about Skillshare, which is a platform that has hundreds of classes about animation, drawing, illustration, and several other creative fields. We've got you guys this course from Skillshare about character animation. The course is an introduction to character animation. It is taught by Jared Freitag, who is going to show you the fundamentals of character animation, and it covers animation techniques using Duik Basil and Adobe After Effects. The Skillshare platform offers a wide variety of additional related courses, and the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will receive a free month of premium membership. Alright, now back to the video. Character design stages. You have your selected software, so what's next? The most important facet to keep in mind is to be fully aware of what kind of character we are designing, as in the medium the character will be depicted in. Creating a character meant for traditional 2D animation is a completely different beast than tackling one designed for video games. We'll get into more details about the different types of characters in a bit. It's just generally worth being mindful of these things, as they will be a big factor in determining the level of detail that you can afford to add to any given character. That being said, character design shares a very similar process across all mediums, so let's explain each step. Step 1. Research. It is important to determine in a very early stage the genre, setting, and the demographic, as well as the type of story you are looking to tell. Those are general guidelines that will determine the artistic direction of the entire project. So naturally, they will also be the main cornerstone that supports the entire character exploration process. A kid's sci-fi show will not have the same visual language as an adult noir murder mystery. Once those factors are determined, it is important to gather up a rich and varied visual library of references that will serve as a jumping off point for Step 2. Brainstorm.